All right, welcome back. You're still watching Morning Live. Now, the KwaZulu Natal Philharmonic Orchestra has two great concerts lined up for this month as they celebrate their spring season. The final concert of the spring season, performing the rousing choral work, Carmina Burana, with a fab soloists and 3 choirs, followed by the after party at the City Hall Gardens. While at the Linder Auditorium later this month, both the Janice Berg Philharmonic Orchestra and the KwaZulu Natal Philharmonic Orchestra will be in concert together, and almost 100 musicians will be on stage at the same time in a very unusual event. Now, to tell us more about these two concerts and spring season, we're joined from Durban studios by KZNPO Orchestra Manager John Walton. John, good morning. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, Leba. Nice to chat to you.
John, give us background into the spring season.
The spring season, well, we have 3 seasons per annum, and this is the grand finale of the year's music, and it's the 20th concert of the year. And to celebrate this incredible instrument called the orchestra, we're doing Carl Orff's Carmina Burana, which is a magnificent work. It is based on poems that were written in the 13th century, and it's a good thing we can't understand them because they are lewd, they are bawdy, but they're set to music in a fantastic way by Carl Orff, and it's got soloists and choirs, and one of the tunes is very well known to everybody. It was used for a famous aftershave advert for many years.
Yeah. Speak to us about the significance of Carmina Burana and why it's such a significant part of the spring season.
Well, it's the quintessential work to end up a season because it embraces the orchestra voices and then the choirs. And in fact, we've got the SA Singers, the Durban Serenade, Claremont Community Choir, Durban Symphonic Choir, and then a very special guest choir, which is the Ekurhuleni Primary School Choir.
All right, speak to us about what people can look forward to at these 2 concerts, the one in Durban and the one in Johannesburg.
Well, Durban, firstly, it's the most magnificent setting, the Durban City Hall, and I would encourage people to come into the city centre because it is really beautiful. The acoustics are superb. It's a large venue, can seat 1,700 people, and we have a large orchestra, choirs on stage, and it just becomes a total sensory experience. And I think the music is beautiful. The orchestra is superb. We've got an internationally renowned conductor, Daniel Reskin. He's from St. Petersburg originally. And we're also starting the work, the evening, with a beautiful work by Richard Strauss called Death and Transfiguration, which is the exploration of a man's soul through his life and then through past death. And it is magnificent music. And
the Johannesburg leg of the concert?
We have a affiliation now with Johannesburg, which my chief executive, Mr. Bongani Tembe, has put together, and it is something that is much needed in this country, collaboration. And this is to mark the start of this collaboration, to put the Johannesburg Philharmonic back on their feet, because they've been through a traumatic time. And so this is us supporting them, and we're going to celebrate making music together with one of the most incredible works, Mahler's 5th Symphony. We're going to start the program with one of our players, Junan Sun, who's our principal clarinet player, doing the Mozart clarinet concerto. And then there's this magnificent work by Gustav Mahler, his 5th Symphony, and it is enormous. And in fact, we're going to have 86 musicians on stage between the 2 orchestras, and it is going to be a memorable event.
And I mean, 86 musicians on stage, that is one hell of a number. Talk to us about the process of putting together this concert.
It has been, what's the Chinese phrase? Interesting.
Yeah.
You live in interesting times. Because working out the logistics of getting everybody up there, the only way we can do it, in fact, is to piggyback on the melting pot choral competition that we're flying up to do at Carnival City. So the logistics of our travel are covered. So we're now just getting up there a few days earlier, and we've been in dialogue with the Johannesburg Philharmonic management and have discussed who's going to be playing what instrument, because remember, in each orchestra you've got somebody called a concertmaster who's the top person in the orchestra, and then you've got your principal players, and so it's been a bit of horse trading as to who is going to be playing what in the concert.
What for you have been the highlights of putting this concert together? And I imagine the sleepless nights in the build-up to that last concert in Johannesburg.
The highlight is that music is a universal language that communicates across all barriers. And this orchestra in Johannesburg has been struggling for a while, and I think the fact that we can actually work together and in the space of 5 rehearsals become one orchestra between the two entities speaks volumes about the concept of unity. The product in the end is going to be something really seen in this country. We have an orchestra of that size playing such beautiful music, and by the time the concert happens, the personalities within the orchestra will have been integrated and the sound will reflect that. It'll be absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm. John, how do we begin to turn around the state of orchestra in South Africa so we avoid a situation where similar to what the JPO is going through?
I think that is a long debate, but the essence of it is that music is a universal language. One of the things we're doing here in Durban is that we do, by far the majority of our work is out in the communities and the schools. Mm-hmm. So the symphony concerts are just a small part of what we do. We're actually out in the schools, we're out in the townships, we have a cadet program, so we are trying to reach far and wide so that people in the communities take ownership of the music. So it's not us preaching to them, as it were, it's their music.
Mm-hmm. And how do we bring these two worlds together? You know, orchestra almost seems like it's there and the community is somewhere else. How do we bridge that gap in terms of making orchestra accessible to the general public?
One of the primary points of contact, in fact, is reflected in this coming concert because in Durban, because in the communities is a fantastic choral tradition. And the choral tradition is something that is available to absolutely everybody in this country. And so by working with the choral groups, we actually bring the two together.
All right. Okay, give us details, ticket prices and venues.
Well, what I'm going to suggest, because there are 2 concerts, so not to confuse people, because the ticket prices are different. If you go onto the CompuTicket site, you can put in for the Durban, which is this coming Thursday, the 22nd of October, and you will see that we're in City Hall at 7:30. And you can also go to our website, which is KZNPO.org.za, and that will also give you information about the joint concert. And then the Linder Auditorium is the venue for the following week's concert. So that's the, am I right, the 28th, 29th? And that's a Wednesday and Thursday at the Linder, and also CompuTicket.
All right. John, thank you so much for speaking to us. John Walton is the KwaZulu Natal Philharmonic Orchestra manager, speaking to us about their spring season taking place in Durban and Johannesburg later this month. All right, let's pay